Well, good morning, YouTube landers, or good afternoon, or good evening, whichever it is, whatever time you're watching this. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody that has joined the channel, subscribed, thrown up a like, thrown up a comment, or just watched the video or a video. I really appreciate all the support I'm getting. It's just I've been having a great time doing this, so I just wanted to shout out to everybody that's supported me in one way or another. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I would really appreciate the support from you guys. Follow along, watch this amazing layout come together. I'm having a great time building it. I'm just loving it. So anyways, today we are going to start the Boulder Creek deck bridge that I showed you guys in the last video. This is an intimidating build for me. It's a craftsman kit, and anybody that's familiar with model railroading, I can't talk this morning. Anybody that's familiar with model railroading knows that the craftsman kits are a little bit different skill level, and they take a lot of attention to detail. So I'm a little intimidated to build this for that reason. And then also I noticed on the front of the box here, it literally says, if you guys can see that, 68 page step-by-step illustrated construction manual, which is, wow, 68 pages. That bridge is not that big, so that means there's a lot of little pieces. But we're gonna tear into this today. I'll bust out that manual and take a look at it and see what kind of pieces we got in here, what it's going to take to start getting this thing put together. This is probably going to be a multi-series video because I just don't think I can get this built in an hour or less than an hour. So bear with me and let's build a bridge. I'll give you guys a quick glimpse of where this is going to sit once we do get it built, but here in a second. But yeah, let me get the cameras set up and we will dig into it. Okay, let's finally cut this bad boy open and see what's inside. I think it opens from one end. I guess this says it's a level 2, so let's hope that I am level 2. Okay. And away we go. Are you guys as nervous about this as I am? Alrighty. We have first piece. I'll hang on to those rubber bands. We might need those later. And yes, I have to lay this out with something flat on it so it won't roll up on us. But pretty straightforward. Trestle end panel, abutment end panel. The side of the bridge, obviously. Cool. This will definitely help. I'm glad this is included in the kit. So let's set this aside for a minute. Drag the rest of this out. And here, wow, that is a thick manual. Wow. This is definitely not going to be a fast build. So first page gives you all the names of the parts, and there is a lot of parts. These are the tools that are supplied. There's a chipmunk outside my shop, or a squirrel, I guess it is. We need to give him a name. You guys think of a name for the squirrel that lives behind my shop? Throw it down in the comments, okay? He's a big boy. We'll get back to this. Let's see some parts. That is... Guess I should have looked at the parts list to see what that is. But there's another one in here with lots of little scale lumber pieces. Well, there's the piano wire in there. Each one of these pieces is a different size. And here's our nut and bolt castings and a whole bunch of little rubber bands and a teeny tiny little drill bit. If you can see that, that is so small. And those nut and bolt castings are really tiny. So we'll definitely be getting the magnifying glass out for that. But that'll be probably some time to come now, because there's not a lot of pieces to this. Like, it doesn't, I mean, we're gonna have to do some cutting and stuff, and I'm sure, but I don't think that this is gonna be too crazy. I think we're gonna be able to knock this out just fine. So I'm gonna cut the video and take a look at this manual a little more in depth, and then I actually think I might start staining wood, the first couple pieces that we need to do first. Good tip that I found is stain your wood before you glue it. If you glue the wood together and then try to stain it afterwards, anywhere that you've put glue the stain won't penetrate the glue, and you'll get a natural colored spot there, and it'll stick out like a sore thumb. So it's a good idea to stain all of your wood beforehand and then glue it together. So like I said, I'm going to take a look at this manual. I might get the stains together and start staining some stuff, but yeah, let's get this going, and I'll be right back. So you guys remember the mountain we did in the first video? This is the area where the bridge is going to go that we're building now. So hopefully when we get it done, I'll obviously have to change some of this up a little bit to make that bridge fit in there, because like I previously mentioned, I was planning on doing a scratch built trestle bridge here, but I think this bridge is going to work just fine. I'll have to cut away some of the foam and sculptor mold that I've put in there already, but I think it'll be just fine there. So, yep, that's where it's going to go. Okay, guys, as you can see, I've got everything laid out here. We got our instructions here. I've got the template laid out here, and I've put over top of it a piece of wax paper. It's just regular cooking style wax paper. I just took a chunk out of my wife's cabinet in the kitchen there. Hopefully she won't mind. But I've got, so that way I can lay the pieces out on here and glue them, and they won't stick to the paper. So I just put that over the top, and obviously you can still see through it, so it works out really well. I got a piece of styrofoam board with some T-pins, so I can pin things together as they're gluing them, and set the jig up, put the pieces around it, glue it, put the pins in to hold it in place while it sits and dries. So we got that set up. I got all of the pieces laid out, organized, labeled, what's what. You probably can't read this stuff on here, but we got our secondary top beams and how many pieces there are. And what does that one say? You can't read it. I can't read it either. end stock beams, top beams, so on and so forth. Everything's laid out. We got our nut and bolt casts there, and the rubber bands, piano wire, everything's laid out. So I think I'm going to stain some pieces first, and I'm going to be using this Speedball Super Black India ink with some isopropyl alcohol. Mix that up, and I think we'll stain some pieces. I got my razor saw here so I can brush this across the wood like so and make wood grain in it, you know, so that'll make it look a little more realistic. And then I've got my miter box so we can make the cuts we need to make if needed. I'm gonna make this bridge as long as it can possibly be. I didn't think about this prior to purchasing the kit, and nor did I know how wide the section was going to be that the bridge needs to span. And right now I have it laid out. I showed you guys a little video earlier of it. It's actually 13 inches wide, so we'll have to adjust the foam, build the abutments up to match that 11 7/8 if that's what the final measurement comes out to be. In this instruction booklet, it shows several different lengths that you can build, so you can make it as short or long as long as the pieces are anyways, or as short as you need it to be. And so I'm going to, like I said, make it as long as I can possibly make it, and then we'll make the layout fit the bridge. Okay, we got you guys down here a little bit closer to where I'm working so you can see what I'm doing. I've got the first jig. This is the corner jig. It came in pre-cut out, like pre-sliced deal, and I broke it all apart, sanded the edges, got them nice and smooth. So we're gonna follow the directions or instructions here and put this jig together. So the first step is we're going to take this diamond piece and we're going to glue it on top of this piece, and then we'll take these two pieces and we'll take a couple of the corner pieces that are labeled, I lost my place here, top chords. We'll set those in place and where they're supposed to be. Then we can glue these two pieces in place here, so that when the glue sets and dries, it'll be the exact same every single time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this knocked out. I'll activate the Go-Go Gadget fast hands so you guys aren't bored while I'm doing it, and we'll be right back. Okay, I know that view is not the best view for you guys to see, but it is glued and drying. We'll put these back over here where they go so we don't get them mixed up with the other pieces later on. But while this is drying, I figured start doing some staining. So I wanted to show you this. This is just a piece of plastic that I cut out of the Waller's turntable package. This is where the bridge that spins on the turntable, this is where that piece sat when it was in the package, and it just happens to be the perfect length for laying these long strips of wood in there for our stain. So I'm going to use that instead of destroying something out of my wife's kitchen. The wax paper she probably won't mind about. If I decided to use some of her Tupperware or dishes or something for staining, she might get a little upset about that. So we decided to opt for this, and it's free. It came with our turntable. So all about doing stuff the cheap way, right? So I'm going to set this aside I'm going to get the India ink and alcohol out, and we'll start making our stain, and I'll start dipping some of this stuff in the stain. So, okay, I've already got the alcohol inside the container here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I didn't want to put too much in there and waste a bunch of alcohol. It's not like it's super expensive, but here's the Speedball Super Black India ink that we're going to use. This is, what is this, 20 ounces or something? I'm not sure. 16 ounces. 16 ounces right there in front of my face. I think I paid $19 for this on Amazon. We're going to add a little bit of this to the alcohol. Now, this is the first time I've done this. I've never used India ink before, and I kind of looked it up a little bit to see how much goes with how much, and we don't want a super heavy stain. We don't want to be super weathered. This bridge is going to be fairly new to as far as the time frame goes. I don't want it to be like a super old bridge. We're modeling in mid 50s, early 60s, or I guess late 50s, early 60s time frame, and we're going to say this bridge was probably built in the early to mid 50s, so it's not going to be super weathered. So we're going to do about 15 drops. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I'm going to try this over here real quick to see how it drops, or if it, okay, yeah. So we're going to do about 15 drops to give us like a medium weathering. There's 2, 3. Wow, this is not working out like I thought it was going to. Well, that's definitely, if not more. So I'm going to wipe this off real quick. And I have read online that this stuff is extremely potent, and a little bit goes a long way, and you don't want to get it on your clothes. So I probably picked the wrong shirt to wear today. So we're going to be extra careful. Make sure that's all cleaned up. Put that out of the way. And I got this paper towel out so that we can set our pieces on it to dry. Get this mixed up real good. Maybe. Definitely staining the plastic. Well, that was close. It seems to be just settling at the bottom. Maybe what I read online is not right. Or I have the wrong alcohol, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if there's a specific kind of alcohol you're supposed to use. It doesn't seem to be mixing with the alcohol. Well, tell you what, I'm going to drop that piece in there. This is just a test piece that I have. Let it soak for a second. We'll damp it off here. See what it looks like. I don't know. It doesn't look like stained wood to me. Let me get a different piece of wood here. I got some ties that I bought for a different project. Drop that in there. It doesn't seem to be picking up the India ink, so maybe I need to put more in there maybe? I don't know. Like I said, I've never done this before. I mean, it's definitely making it, I mean, there's a difference. What do you guys think? Of course, by the time you answer me, I'll have figured out something else. But I'm not crazy with the way that looks. I don't like it. Alright, I'm going to go back to researching and see what I can do. I'll be back. Okay, mystery solved. After doing a little more research, I found out that this particular India ink does not work with alcohol because of the shellac that's in it, apparently. Whatever shellac is. So this here India ink, you have to use water with just a touch of soap in it. So I've got just regular water with a dab of some dish soap in there. We're going to fill this tray back up and try this again. We'll add our India ink and see how that looks. That looks like about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We'll call that 15 right there. And grab another test strip here. Kind of stir this up a little. That looks much better. That is working way better than the last one. Hopefully this will be the solution. It is definitely mixing. Still smells like soap though. Alright, let's grab paper towel, set this down here. Hopefully I didn't just block the camera with my big head. And I guess we'll just try this piece right here. And let it sit in there for a second. Try this off. See what it looks like. So y'all definitely learned something today. Make sure you buy the right India ink. It's definitely staining it. Let's grab a piece that's not been stained. So this has not been stained, and that one has been. And you can see it's definitely darker, but not very dark. So we're gonna put it back in there. Might have to add some more of the India ink to make it a little darker, I think. Make it a little stronger, maybe. Try that. It's getting there. I think let's add some more. I did read that you could use a lighter alcohol content with this. You do like a 70% alcohol instead of a 90 and 91, and that'll still work with that. But you still have to add water to it so that the shellac doesn't break up in the alcohol. And I thought to myself, well, why don't I just use water and soap instead of using alcohol? Because I have water and soap here. So I don't have 70% alcohol here. So that's the route we took. But that's definitely getting darker. You guys can see the difference there.
And it probably looks different on camera than it does in person. So I'm just adding, mixing, adding, mixing, adding, mixing until we get the right darkness. Like I was saying earlier, I want this bridge to look like it's about 10 years old or so. So I don't want it to be super, super weathered, but it doesn't, it can't look brand new either. So see how that looks. That's looking much better. It's becoming dark gray color now. You see the difference here. I think we'll add just a little bit more. One thing I want to make sure I do is I want to make sure I have enough to stain every piece with this batch, so that, because if you stain half of it and then come, make a new batch and stain the other half, it's going to be probably unlikely that you'll be able to get the same color and tones with a different batch. So I want to be able to do all of it in one shot. So that everything looks the same. There we go. I don't know, it's still not very, it's not, I think I want it a little darker than that. And I don't know if adding more of this to it is doing anything, or if it's just the simple fact that I keep dipping it in it that's making it darker. I mean, I imagine every time you dip it, it gets a little darker. Remember when you were a kid and you was coloring Easter eggs with vinegar and food coloring? And every time you dip the egg in there, it gets a little bit darker. I think maybe that's the effect we're getting here. It's definitely darker. Hope you guys can see that difference there. I think we'll call that good. I think that looks good. I mean, once it's all said and done, these are just scrap pieces I had laying around. This is an actual piece. So we'll I think we'll go with that. But first, before I do that, I'm going to set this stuff aside, and we're going to take our razor saw and we're going to take the wood on each side, on each piece of it, and we're going to drag this razor saw along the wood to give it some texture. And I'm going to do that on every single piece before I stain it, and that is going to take quite some time. So we'll kick on some cool guitar music, some Go-Go Gadget fast hands, and I will scratch each one of these pieces and then stain it, and you guys will see what it looks like in the end. Alright, get to it. Okay, that was a whole lot of fun for me. Hopefully it wasn't too boring for you guys. I still have a few more pieces to do that I forgot about, but I'm gonna do a little bit of staining, get some pieces drying, and then while those are drying, I'll razor saw the other pieces that I forgot about. But one thing that I read, and you'll want to keep in mind as well, if you're going to do the same speedball that I'm using, for your longer, skinnier pieces, because it's water based and not chemical based, you're going to want to lay them out and weigh them down so that they don't warp. Wow, that was almost really bad. That was, yeah. So, disaster averted. Before I do knock that over, I'm going to get started on this. So, for me, I'm going to start with the shorter pieces that I'm not so concerned about warping because they're not as long. But this should be nice and dried. So I'm going to use these for weights. That's our jig, corner jig, all assembled and glued and dry. So we can set that aside. And what my plan is I've got like these pieces here. Oh, one thing that I want to point out to you guys, if you're going to do this same stuff, when you're doing the razor saw, I don't know if you guys could catch it in the fast hands video, but when you're doing this, you want to hold one end of it and try and get, as much as you can. Be careful, because I was doing this and one of the pieces went flying somewhere in this area, and I have yet to find it yet. So I will have to make a new one of these, because there are supposed to be 6 of these, and now I only have 5. Luckily, I know what size it is. I can run down to the hobby shop, or Hobby Lobby, I guess it is, because we don't have a hobby shop local. But I'll run down to the Hobby Lobby and get a long piece and cut me a new one, so that I have a total of 6 of these. But my plan is drop these in all at the same time, and then take them out after a few seconds. Set them onto the paper towel here, and then set one of these on top of all 6 of them. That way they stay nice and straight. I guess there's like 5, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. So let me get my pliers ready. I had a pair of tweezers in here, but I don't know what happened to them. So here we go. Get them in there, get them soaked. And take them out. If I can get a hold of it. And one thing that I noted when I was reading online about these is that they will appear much darker when they're wet than when they're dry completely. So we will see what the end result looks like here shortly. Set that down on top of those. Actually, I'm going to move them to a dry spot. Set that down on top of them. So I'm going to keep going on this, but that's the process I'm doing. I'm going to keep going, and I'll show you what it looks like when they're done. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to show you a quick comparison before and after. So that's obviously a 4-piece. How many of you guys can see the lines in it that I put in there with the razor saw? Like it gives it some grain, but that's before, and then here's after. It'll focus. I can't tell if it's focusing on that or not. Come on. Anyway, I hope that's focusing. I can't bloody tail. But you can see the difference, obviously, in color. And that grain that we put in there with the razor saw is definitely a lot more prominent. You can see it, you know, and it gives it some detail. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to keep going on this, and I might call it a day once I get all this stuff. Once I get all these stained. Just looking at these, I think it looks pretty good. I really like the way these looked. These turned out. They look really good. But yeah, I'm gonna probably call it a day after this, after the staining process is done, and then give that overnight to let all of the stain dry and everything. And we'll come back in the morning and see what it looks like completely dried, and probably start gluing this stuff together. I don't know that I'll get all of it glued together tomorrow, but I'm going to give it a try. So, but yeah, you guys will be seeing what it looks like here shortly. All right, guys, so it's the next morning, and as you can see, all of the wood is completely stained, and I think it turned out pretty good. Everything dried up nice and straight, no warping or anything. So that's pretty good. I'm sorry if you guys can't read my writing on there, but I have everything organized so that I know what's what and what goes where. There's the rest of it over there. So I got the instruction panel out and our first piece in the jig. So in the interest of keeping these videos short in this series, I'm going to end this one here, and we will pick up in the next video the construction of the bridge. I'm super excited to see how this bridge comes together. I hope you guys are looking forward to it as well. I realize this video wasn't the most exciting video that I've done, but it was an instructional video, kind of learn with me type video, because I've never done this before, and now I have, and you guys got to witness that, and you got to see me make my mistakes with the wrong type of India ink, but it turned out really well. I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out, and I hope you guys agree that it turned out really good. So let's call it a wrap here, and I will start putting this thing together in the next one. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.